Alright, here we are. We're up at Rockport State Park. A little chilly with the snow and everything. Thought I had the right part for my Mr. Heater. So now I gotta go in town to see if I can find the proper part. Furnace in my little pop-up ain't working. So see what we can come up with.
Probably this part for the furnace too, we bought.
Yeah.
So we are driving back to town for the second time to get a part for the heater, but we've already seen a bald eagle and some deer, so we're really excited for the wildlife that we might see.
So we were able to thwart disaster by getting the Mr. Heater working finally. Took the whole afternoon of the first day. Here we are on the first morning fixing breakfast. I thought I had shot more video of this, but apparently not. There we go.
Here we are, and because it's so cold, we haven't been able to do any dishes. We're having to mix our pancake mix in a pan. Is that crazy or what? But you just gotta make do with what you got.
Here we are headed back into town to fill up the propane. We had a tank that was about half full when we arrived, and the Mr. Heater used up most of that.
Yeah, because pretty much is all we've done is drive into town this trip, huh?
I wouldn't say that, but as far as being out, yeah.
Because that means we've driven almost 107 miles just going to and from campground.
Yikes.
Just to get a hose. That's crazy.
Sure is. Apparently a lot of people go to the store.
Alright, here we are arriving at the Sinclair in Camas, Utah. We're gonna go ahead and get some propane and a little bit of gas, and we're gonna take that back to the trailer and possibly head up to Wasatch National Forest, see what's going on up there.
Yeah.
So we get back to camp, and here's this awesome cross-country skier going around the lake. That is one thing about Utah in the winter. There are endless possibilities of things to do. Of Rockport State Park. In 1860, the first European American settlers came to the location that is currently Rockport Reservoir and Rockport State Park. They settled in the area and called their settlement Crandall. The deep snow in the area and the cold weather were hard on the pioneers, but they decided to stay. A year after arriving, they renamed the settlement Enoch City. In 1866, during the Black Hawk War, the fear of Indians drove the settlers away from Enoch City, and they fled to Wanship, another settlement nearby. A year later, they went back to Enoch City and built a wall 2 feet thick and 8 feet high to protect the city from Indian attacks. Once it was built, the settlement was renamed Rock Fort. When the war had ended, the wall was torn down and its material was used to build other structures. The settlement adopted the name Rockport. The town of Rockport's population stayed around 100 to 200 people over the years. However, in the 1940s, the population started to decline. In the 1950s, while 27 families were still living in the area, the government decided to build the Wanship Dam. In 1952, the federal government bought all of the land in the area, which is now Rockport Reservoir. Between 1954 and 1957, the Bureau of Reclamation built the Wanship Dam, which is 156 feet tall and 2,010 feet wide at the crest. The valley where the town of Rockport once laid was flooded and Rockport Reservoir was created. The total capacity of the lake is 62,100 acre-feet, and the surface area is 1,080 acres. Before the area was flooded, some of the buildings were removed so they could be preserved for history. Those buildings are currently located at Pioneer Village inside Lagoon Amusement Park. You can see the Rockport Coop, which was organized by farmers in the area and operated until 1930, and the Rockport Schoolhouse, which was built in 1870. So there you go, a little interesting history on Rockport State Park and Reservoir. Ooh, it's cold out here. So we drove up the Mirror Lake Byway to Wasatch National Forest. In the wintertime, you can only go to mile past 14 at the Soapstone turnoff. I'm going to walk over here and show you where we usually go camping in the summertime. But due to the snow, we can't drive up there today. There also seems to be a lot of snowmobilers today. They sure do like the fresh powder.
So lately I've been doing a lot of thinking about when we got the trailer. I think it was about 12 years ago, maybe a little bit more. Tim and I got a little money from our tax returns and we decided to use it to buy a trailer. Up until then we'd been tent camping, but we wanted to see what we could get. We were very fortunate because the trailer that we ended up buying was worth more money than we had to spend. But the previous owner didn't know what was wrong with the furnace, so he was willing to sell it for less than it was worth. Luckily for us, Tim just had to install a new thermostat, and that fixed that problem.
Yeah, it sure did. At least up until recently. Now the furnace is broke again. I don't know what the problem is. I thought it was the automatic sparker, but apparently it's not that because I put a new one in it.
That's not the only thing that's gone wrong with that trailer either. We recently had to replace the cupboard doors. The storage on the front needed to be completely rebuilt, and it still has problems, like the door never stays on properly. So, and lately we've been doing some thinking about upgrading to a hard-sided trailer, if we can figure out how to do that. There are a lot of advantages to that. Right now we bring totes around with us that we keep our pots and pans and things in. But in a hard-sided trailer, you can just keep that stuff in there. The other thing that we really would like to do is be able to take our cats camping with us. But with a soft-sided trailer, that's kind of a scary proposition because they could climb out. Plus, we just don't have the room.
Yeah, because around the tent area on the pop-up, they could climb out really easily and then they could be lost. And up here, we've already seen one bald eagle, and a bald eagle could run off with a cat pretty quickly. And you get smoke in your eyes. Nothing better than that. So anyways, on this trip, it's the first time I've been winter camping since I was a kid in Boy Scouts.
First time ever for me.
So I wasn't anticipating kind of some of the things that would happen. I forgot to bring in the water jug and it froze overnight.
The water water bottles that we had froze too.
Yeah, we had some water bottles that I was assuming that being in the back of the truck would have stayed unfrozen, but it got down to 9 degrees last night, so yeah, they froze too.
And it's supposed to be even colder tonight.
Yeah, it's supposed to get down to like 4 in the morning tomorrow.
What were we eating that was frozen? I know your pomegranate seeds were frozen.
Yeah, my pomegranate seeds froze because I put them on the wheel well in the trailer just to keep them cold, and they froze solid.
Even my toothpaste was hard to get out of the tube this morning. It was so frozen.
We had a sponge frozen to the picnic table here at
I
the
forgot about that.
campground. Normally we don't camp in campgrounds, but we figured on this trip we'd better make sure that we have plenty of heat since it's really basically our first time doing it. So we wanted to make sure we had electricity.
And it's a good thing too, because we couldn't get the furnace or the Mr. Buddy heater working last night, so.
Yeah, I couldn't get the Mr. Buddy to work on the 20-pound propane tank. So finally today I got the right hose to be able to do that, so we can get the trailer all nice and toasty before we go to bed tonight. Sweet.
So you've been pretty comfortable most of the trip, right?
Yes, I have. I haven't gotten too cold personally.
I would say I've been comfortable, but there are a lot of times that I'm still cold. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that most of my clothes are 3 sizes too big. Recently, Tim and I decided to take not really a weight loss class, more like a fitness class. Made some lifestyle changes, so I have lost a lot of weight, which is great, but it also makes it a little bit hard for things like this. I haven't really bought any new clothes because I'm planning on keeping it up. Tim had a little bit of a setback. He had surgery a couple months ago, so he's still doing good, but I'm definitely beating.
Yes, indeedy. Need to get back on my diet.
It probably doesn't look like it because these pants fit pretty good, but I've got 2 layers underneath and they're still a little bit loose. Both my coat and my hoodie are so loose that the wind just goes right up in them. Plus, I think Tim is just hotter than I am anyway. You can see your breath, you know it's cold. So he's been a little bit more comfy than I have, but it's been better than I expected.
So ultimately our goal with this channel is to get people out camping and showing you that it's really not that hard. And we want to get either a hard-sided trailer or a motorhome, and we want to start traveling and show everybody what we're doing and hopefully give you some tips and advice on how to get out yourself. Because your public lands, you should be using them before they take them away.
That's a sad thought. For sure, though, because you can pretty much stay anywhere in this country where there's public land. And it's here for us to use.
And it's free of charge if it's on BLM or Forest Service.
It's true, unless you're in a campground.
Yeah, unless you're in a campground, then they usually charge, but there's a lot of free of those too.
So as long as Tim and I have known each other, that's been one of our dreams, to be able to kind of travel the country, see new things, and be able to support ourselves that way.
Good morning, YouTube. Here it is, our last day camping out here. Basically our first winter trip. Anyways, we got some snow last night, and it must have got a little bit cold because we got some icicles hanging off the trailer. I'll have to take you out and show you what that looks like. But today we're just going to be getting some breakfast and packing up and heading out. Now I can't get the door open. Maybe I'll be taking you guys out to show you some icicles. I might be locked in the trailer. There we go. The only thing that I can figure that caused this is that it was warm enough in the trailer to melt the snow that fell last night, which caused some drippage. Take you over here to the front of the trailer and show you the biggest one that we have, which is actually a pretty good sized icicle. But I'll tell you, it's really not too bad weather-wise out here this morning. Temperature feels pretty good. Bummer that we have to leave.
It looks like we're going to be eating inside the trailer this morning because we forgot to bring our chairs in from after the campfire. And as you can see, they got snowed on and now they're getting dripped on. That's going to be fun when we're packing up. You can also see we had quite a few birdie visitors.